I'd like to share with you all how I managed to make a Molten Strike of the Zenith skill actually work as a league starter. I did this by starting with Berserker, the lovely old Berserker, for the main reason being, with the changes to Rage this season giving more attack damage, and with the changes to Berserker specifically, which actually give more attack speed for every point of Rage, amplified by the fact that you get 50% increased Rage effect, means that the early awkwardness that you would normally expect with this skill is sort of mitigated by the fact that you just have gigantic amounts of attack speed. Now, in contrast to the Juggernaut version, you will of course be less tanky. However, it does allow you to effectively come online with your build significantly easier. And because I'm not running a strength stacking setup, I can actually just use crit in combination with the new Rosethorn tincture, which gives a gigantic amount of crit, stacking of course with the Diamond Flask. It's just a very, very, very powerful league starter in terms of damage. Survivability, well, you know, it's a Berserker, guys. It's not the tankiest of builds. And I'm not going to say this is necessarily a top blasting kind of next generation best league starter by any means. It's just if you want to start Molten Strike of the Zenith, I present to you just a very effective way in which you can do so. I'll talk a bit about the character. So far I've spent very, very little currency on this character. This weapon, for example, is just a falling sword that uses obviously Molten Strike, added fire damage, multi-strike with returning projectiles. Once I get a 6 link, of course, I will add slower projectiles, and I'll take off the returning projectiles and change the enchantment of the weapon for the returning projectiles mod, and I'll use things like fire penetration and GMP. I can't use those at the moment, unfortunately, due to having a falling. But everything else, aside from the lightning coil, good old lightning coil, OP as ever, I love this item, and Tanurahi, which, because you have such a high amount of leech in this build, it just gives you very, very easy access to adrenaline and onslaught. Everything else has been pretty much whatever I found off the ground, or, you know, from the new league mechanic. Life resistances, life resistance, etc. I'm running Purity of Elements as an aura, mostly because, well, it just helps with the elemental ailment immunity, helps with the resistances because I have a lightning coil as well. Hard to get high amounts early on, but I'll switch this over to a haste in the future. I'm currently level 85, and is there anything else that's unusual about this build? I'm running this for the tinctures. I'm actually trying out Vaal Pact. I think you have to be a little bit insane to use this thing all the time. I'm going to keep testing it. It does make you very, very tanky, but when things slightly output your healing, you're going to have a bad time, because you cannot heal if you use this thing. But it does give you access to instant leech, which is just completely comical. And as for the rest of the tree, honestly everything is pretty conventional for this type of setup, very similar to the Juggernaut configuration. This thing is OP, I have to admit. The charge mastery, given with the changes to endurance charges, you just absolutely need to have this. It will completely make your life a lot easier in the early maps. Everything else, pretty standard stuff for a sword build. I did originally use this item, where is it? Here, Centivia's Medal, mainly because the Rampage helps a lot with the early mapping, but I just didn't find it was necessary anymore, particularly because I want to get a weapon which can actually make use of the returning projectiles mod, which, as it seems, it can only apply to a two-handed sword. Okay, so how does this work in mapping? Well, let's find out. I'll have a little demonstration. So we'll pick a tier 12, why not? I haven't finished the Atlas list, by the way. I haven't played this game as much as some of you guys, but I'm getting there. And this build's been helping quite a bit. Now, I must add that I don't actually think this is like a strong build per se. I just think it's like a decent league starter. It's okay. It's more just in contrast to the popular sentiment that you can't actually start with Molten Strike of the Zenith, but in my opinion you absolutely can. And the best thing is you just know that the scaling of this build is just going to go infinitely higher as time goes on and I acquire more currency. If need be, I'll switch over to the Juggernaut, but I don't believe I really need to. I don't want to run that as an example. Monsters cannot be leeched from. Well, that's just going to completely brick my build, isn't it? Hexproof, yep. Yeah, this one looks like it. Okay, let's do a little demonstration. Fun times. Again, I'm trying out Vaal Pact at the moment. I like it, I do, it's a lot of fun, but absolutely use that at your own risk. honestly, just look at the healing. The healing's kind of crazy when it comes on. And the damage, of course, yeah, look at that. It's like these are tier 16 beasts, and they're just dropping immediately on a 4-link. It's crazy. Like, the damage of this build is nuts.
Fuck up. Fuck up. Yeah, boy.
Getting a bit of lag. You guys notice quite a bit of lag with the new update. It's kind of annoying. And yeah, most of the time the build's just like this, you know, providing you don't get one-shot by something. Even with the Vaal Pact, the damage is absolutely astronomical. PoE Path of Building is estimating that my damage is, oh god, is about 15 million. To be honest, it does feel kind of like that once you get everything propped, but that takes a bit of setup. I mean, look at this. Look at how comically tanky this is. And this is on a 4-link character with like complete off-the-ground equipment, and just face tanking all these red mobs at the pretty much the start with all of these elements. And that's with a tincture running. Wow. No, I must admit, guys, this is a lot of fun. I mean, what's not fun about getting instant healing and then just jumping around the map and attacking everything, huh? But again, when you're using the Vaal Pact, you just have to be careful of one-shots because, yeah, they're not very fun. You can't, when you have the Vaal Pact, you can only heal from Leech, so it's a complete psychopath. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah, see, I'm not even using my tincture or anything, and the thing's just melting. It's completely crazy. And let's just run to the boss for a bit of fun, huh? Okay, this is getting a bit much. Whoop, back up. Vaal Pact, please.
Back up.
Oh my, what the hell? Okay, guys, that surprised me. That surprised me, I must admit. Okay, right. Yeah, I'm a bit slow at the moment because my attack speed amp has ran off. Come on, you. You have no rage. And, well, that's pretty much that. I have to admit that demonstration went a bit better than I expected. And look, guys, it's a level 85 character. I'm using completely basic gear. I'll provide the POB in the description. And honestly, like, you can start with this. It's a lot of fun. You can switch over to the Juggernaut strength stacker later if you want, but you can also just go crit based, sorry. I mean, look, this Tenacious Roadstone Tincture is just completely broken for this build, and as soon as you get those attack speed pops with the high amount of crit, it just feels so much fun. And this is on a 4-link. This is on a 4-link, guys. Think about that for a second. POB estimates that my DPS is about 15 million with everything active. Now, estimating DPS on Molten Strike of the Zenith is a bit tricky because you have to, like, guess the amount of projectiles that are hitting. I just scaled this down to 15. Connor uses 20 in his configuration, but that's with GMP. So I have to take that into consideration. It could be a bit lower than this, but as you can see from the demonstration, the DPS is clearly very, very high. And that's pretty much that. So you can League start as Molten Strike of the Zenith. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, unless you're comfortable with this type of playstyle, but it's absolutely doable, and to be honest, I've had a lot of fun. Okay, have a good day.